Hey, KMMA Tribe. This is Stephen Del Castillo from Grandmaster Martial Arts, and more specifically for the purposes of this recording of my new book, Developing Your Superpowers, Meditations on Mastery, Volume 1. And hey, first and foremost, I just want to thank again all of the backers that backed my Kickstarter that allowed me to publish this book. And this is the first in a series of recordings I'm going to be doing, which were promised as some of the prizes along with the book. Books are going out this week. The ebooks have already gone out. The hard copy books are going out. And this is the first in the webinar series on the foundational superpowers. The first superpower is chapter 1, foundation superpower number 1, focus. And focus is truly a superpower in every sense of the word. As in all the superpowers, it's rare. So many people lack it. It's the superpower focus allows the person that wields that focus the ability to accomplish superhuman feats. And as in the case of all the super powers, our powers are meant to help others. And as I said, it's chapter 1 of the book as well. And in chapter 1, I start section 1.1 talking about the past. There's a whole section there where I talk about revisiting our past for the purpose of moving on from our past. And succinctly, it is to say that we can't live there. Our past served purposes that helped us to become the people that we are today. Our past, hopefully, if we were paying attention, we learned from. But we can't focus on the past. Rather the events are positive or negative, our focus cannot be in the past. We have to put our focus in the present to create the future that we desire. At the end of the section on the past, I ask a few questions that I'm going to share with you here today. So that, hopefully you'll have a copy of the book and you can work right off of it. But I'm going to go ahead and share these last few questions. Number 1, what am I carrying that is hurting me? Make a conscious decision to drop these. Pray about it and release it. If it's not adding but subtracting, let it go. Number 2, what am I carrying that is helping me? It's also important to realize those past events that have contributed to who we are and or are still serving us well, and hold on to these. In the case of some, they may even be useful to pass on to our children. Number 3, what can I learn? The best and highest use of our past is to learn for the future. What mistakes have I made that I don't want to make again? What specific lessons learned could I derive from these mistakes and apply to my future life? I can honestly tell you that I have invested to learn more from the hard-earned lessons of my life than from my Master of Business Administration. Go learn from yours too. Number 4, are you ready to focus on your future? Then let's start with focus. And in section 1.2, I go into what is focus. And we teach at my martial arts academy that focus is the ability to block out distractions and to concentrate on what's important. And this is kind of the most surface level, the easiest definition and understanding of focus. But even at this simple level, focus is a superpower. Because let me tell you, it's a rare thing to see people that can remain focused on one task or one thing for long enough to produce any effect. And we know that it's a terrible problem with children in schools, people at work, people in relationships, on and on and on, where we are more driven by our distractions. Things are happening to us rather than us happening to things, rather than us focusing on our vision and our goals. So even just in this very, very rudimentary understanding of focus, it's already incredibly powerful. And in fact, we teach our kids right at the beginning, and not just our kids, but all of our students here, we teach focus your eyes, focus your ears, focus your mind, and focus your body. And we find that through teaching these, what we call the 4 laws of concentration, it's that first kind of white belt beginner step towards developing the superpower of focus. And of course, there's a whole section on that. And then section 1.3, lions and tigers and squirrels, oh my, that's a section that actually tells an amusing story about me walking my dog and what happens when we are distracted by the squirrels of our life. And then 1.4, focus is my superpower. I'm actually going to read this one to you because the neat thing is that when I got the book, I of course got to start rereading what I had written because there's so much time between writing and actually getting the hard copy of your book. And this was a story that had just happened, uh, recently when I wrote the blog and then it went into to the book here. This story had just happened, and so it was a nice memory for me about a special time with my grandson. But I think so relevant to what we're talking about. My grandson asked me last night if I have any powers, and I said yes. When he asked me what my superpower was, I told him focus. He said, "That's just normal ninja stuff, Vuelo," which of course brought a chuckle to me, and then continued, "Powers are like flying or shooting lava from your hands." While I'm sure that the powers of flight and of lava projection are cool too, I'm here to tell you that focus is a superpower. Energy flows where focus goes. We get more of what we focus on. The first step towards developing the power is just to believe that it is real. Many people stay in negative circles where they never get a break, or everything bad seems to continuously happen to them, or every time I start to get ahead, something comes and knocks me down. The first step towards changing that is to stop saying that, and to also eradicate the self-limiting beliefs that someone else just has it easier or better, or doesn't have their own problems that they're negotiating, or that it just comes easy to them. This kind of thinking is not only helpful, but it also just isn't true. Focus is a superpower and works for evil as well as good. It depends on what you focus on. I was having a discussion with someone recently who told me that I've just always had willpower to do what I say I'm going to do, and it just doesn't come naturally to her. I explained that it doesn't come easy to anyone. It's just that every time I do what I tell myself I'm going to do, I get stronger. Just like every time I don't, the opposite is true. Willpower, like focus, and like all of the superpowers, are as available as they are elusive to all. They get stronger with practice, or weaker or worse without practice. Choose to develop the superpower of focus in your life and in your kids. It's the one that can lead to all the rest. And I truly believe that this is kind of the next level of focus that I was talking about. On the simple one, it's concentration. But a deeper understanding of focus is understanding that we get what we focus on. And by the way, there's been whole movies, the Secret, the book and the movie, and all kinds of books written on the law of attraction. And some are more mystical and mythical sounding than others. But the truth is this: energy flows where focus goes. And for whatever reasons, if you're a person of faith like me, maybe it is because God rewards us when we are focusing in a positive direction, in the direction of our goals and dreams and the things, the purposes and passions and visions that He gives us for our life. And there's other people that believe that the law of attraction is just a thing of the universe. But my point to you is that even if you take away all esoteric understanding of the principle, that you do get more of what you focus on. And I believe that this is powerful and true on so many levels. There's some that are very, very obvious, and then there's some that are less. I was having a talk with my youngest son, actually, who's about to have a hernia operation, and he had done some research and was looking at some of the possible, things that can go wrong or whatever. And I reminded him of this, the importance of having only positive thoughts and actually thinking about his recovery and actually thinking about everything that can go right. Because believe it or not, there's even a physical manifestation of our ability to focus on a positive outcome in our lives. I believe that everything, our physical life, our spiritual life, our financial life, our relational life, is affected by our focus. And right now I'm talking about, of course, the difference between positive focus and negative focus. And you may have noticed, maybe you've heard this explained before, or maybe you've just noticed in your life, that two people can be looking at exactly the same situation or exactly the same challenge and have two entirely different realities. That's because the realities are based not so much on the circumstances of the situation as they are on their focus. And this is a deep and powerful um, thing that first needs to be understood and then can actually be developed like a muscle over time with focus. Section 1.5 is beware the shadow warrior, and I um, talk about the fact that the shadow warrior in martial arts lore was the was the ninja shinobi warrior, and was often associated. He was an assassin or thief and a stealthy mystical warrior. And my point was that there are shadow warriors in our society today, and there are shadow warriors that do not have our best interest in mind. And so we have to beware of the shadow warrior, and then we need to know what to do about them. I say here what to do to beware of the shadow warrior. Number one, be aware. Number two, be focused. And there's, of course, sub bullets and understanding, explanation of all of this. But number three, be prepared. Number four, be empowered. Number five, help prepare and empower others. 1.6 is the choices of a champion, where I tell a story about my time training with the late great Joe Louis. One time I asked him about his strategy as he stepped into the ring with another fighter, and I remember he said something that I think is so relevant to the way we should focus on life. He said, Steve, I never stepped into any fight worried about what he was going to do to me, but always focused on what I was going to do to him. And I think that Master Lewis gave a great lesson there on the way we should look at life. Stop thinking and worrying about what's going to happen to you. Instead, think about how you're going to affect your reality, the people, the world around you. Because we do have amazing, amazing power. We have amazing power to create our reality. We have an amazing power to empower others. And in both of these things and many others that I talk about in the book are particularly relevant to our success, towards towards us achieving our chief and dominant goals. Number 1.7 is about being in the moment. Great story there about a special time with my son Diego, Shihan Diego, when he got his 4th degree black belt. But actually, it's kind of neat because he also just recently got back. I had a great Father's Day yesterday because he was back from his Army infantry training. He was gone for 22 weeks. And yesterday I had Shihan Harley, my oldest son, Shihan Diego, my middle son, and Sensei Winston, my youngest son, all there together to celebrate. And maybe that's a perfect way to kind of close this seminar, because there's one more thing about focus that I want to share. And that is, make sure that you make a conscious and deliberate decision about what you want to focus on. What we choose to focus on should be the things in our life that we consider to be the most important. And I would be remiss not to confess that I spent much of my life professing that certain of the things that were most important to me were, yet focusing on other things. And as I said earlier in this thing, energy flows where focus goes. So what I mean to say in a very practical sense is, if our families are important to us, we need to focus on our families. And in every other, our health, our wealth, our peace, our prosperity, our legacy, whatever it is, whatever are the things when you sit down that excite you, that empower, that make you feel like, hey, these are the things that I care about in my life. Make sure that focus goes there. And focus is shown by the things that we invest time and energy and focus on. Thanks for spending the time to focus with me a little bit here today. I look forward to seeing you all or hearing from you all in whatever relationship we have, whether it's in my martial arts academy or you're a reader of the book or a friend or family or somebody I haven't even met yet. I look forward to getting to know you. And I thank you for spending the time, and I hope you enjoy the book. Prepare to live, empowered to lead. Shihan Steve out.